If you're shopping around for car insurance, or if you're just kind of curious if you're being taken advantage of, there's a few things that you need to think about the differences between agents. There's a few factors that make insurance agents different. There's a ton of agents out there. I dare you to go put a post on Facebook and say, I need better insurance, and see if you don't get 30 or 40 different replies. There's a lot of connections out there, and if the agent's done their job correctly, they're connected with a lot of people. So the first piece that you got to think of that makes one agent better than the other is their knowledge in the industry. I personally have found that when I was licensed in the 45 plus states that I was licensed in, I knew less than I know being licensed in one or two states. That big difference of trying to learn it all and sell it all and just be the all one guy is more difficult, and you end up hurting the customers more than you do help them. Don't get me wrong, there's usually not anything wrong with having the data available, but they're not going to be as personalized to know that these little tweaks and whatnot are going to be perfect for your scenario. The length that they've been in business does matter, because the longer they've been doing it, the more knowledge that they should have. And that kind of leads into the second piece, which is like a half a piece, right? 1.2 or 1.5, where your agent should be knowledgeable, not just in the coverages and the availability of the pieces, the packages and the discounts and all of that, is they should know your situation. So if your agent isn't actually taking the time to understand, hey, I know you want $1,000 deductible, but if you had an accident, are you okay with paying $1,000 out of pocket? Or is that something that you're going to struggle to come up with and you won't be able to get the car fixed? So yes, I should quote you $5 or $8 a month more, because in that scenario, you're not protected to the level where you're going to be happy. So the agent taking the time, and that comes with some of the knowledge, is once they've done it long enough, they'll usually take that extra time to find out your scenario. The second piece that agents differ from each other is professionalism. And that actually kind of was the second piece, is really falls in the professionalism category. So how well are they going to work with you? Do they care about your situation? And mainly, are they honest and reliable? If you call your agent right now, are they going to be available? If not, will they call you back on Monday, or will they call you back as soon as they can? So if you don't have some sort of communication, then there's no reason you should have that agent in the first place. The third primary reason one agent could be better than another is the amount of carriers that they work with. The difference between an Allstate or a State Farm or a Farmers or those one-off companies, those could be great in certain areas, but in most areas you're seeing rate increases in 2023 and going forward. The problem that you run into is when that happens, they don't have anything else to give you. If they do, they get cut commissions sometimes, and it's not worth the benefit for them. So the only thing that they can do to get the price down, if that's the main piece they have to focus on, is they can only change coverage. So now you're getting a worse deal, where the other type of agent, which is more of an independent agent, can work with 10 different carriers, 20 different carriers. And if they have this multitude of companies that they can shop you through, they can fit you best in the right place, but they can also give you the best price. By the way, if you are shopping, I'll put a link in the description below that does do the multiple carrier companies. I have an agency that I work with some people in certain states, and other agencies that I work with that I actually have that will reach out to you. Feel free to fill it out if you are interested, but the main thing that we're trying to focus on is the fact that you have the availability of different companies. Just keep in mind that that goes back to the first and second step. Even though I might have 30 companies versus another independent agent that has 8, who is going to be the better fit? If I put you with a high-risk company because they're cheaper, is that going to benefit you when you have these claims because they've excluded certain coverages that you may have needed? Once again, it always goes back to the knowledge and the ability for that agent to spend the time and understand your situation. The fourth way that agencies are different, although they never say they do, because the number one thing that we all say, well, how am I going to be different than everybody else? Oh, customer service. We're going to have the best customer service. And I say that, like, we got the best customer service. Join our team. They all do, right? They all say that they have the best service, but that is a factor. Once again, that goes back to, are they available to you? Do they have a service department? Some agencies like ours, we have a direct connection with some of the companies we work with. So you can bypass us. If we're not available, you can go straight to that company and have that assistance that you need right away. Other agencies don't. Some of the smaller ones, or the ones that aren't aware or willing to pay the extra percentage back to those companies, don't use those services. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad agency. It just means that they have to be on their toes and on the ball to service you correctly quicker than the other one. The last and not final reason that agents are different from each other is attention to detail. This kind of falls in line with experience because if you've been through the situation 30, 40, 50 times, you quickly understand that there are some pieces that could change your scenario. For example, a lot of people say, my kid's no longer in my house. Well, where are they? They're at college. Oh, they're still liable. You're still supposed to carry coverage for them. And so I know that. Some agents will just accept that and move forward and exclude the kid. And now the kid has an accident and it's not covered. So in those scenarios, you got to know, are they detail oriented? Are they asking the questions that are going to get you the best coverage, but also can they get you the price that matches that framework that you're looking for? Our agency actually, in a lot of cases, is more expensive. But the reason we're more expensive isn't because we're more expensive as far as cost to coverage. We're more expensive because we actually do the details and we pay attention and we say, hey, you should have water backup on your house. You should have full replacement costs on your contents. You should have 5,000 med pay because you have a good income. You should have $500,000 liability. You should have an umbrella. You should, we actually pay attention, and there's scenarios where you don't need those, and it's more of a price focus, right? And that's fine, and that's where it leads into which is the best agent. If it's price, you don't even need us. Just go online and do one of those free 100 phone call quotes, and you'll find the best price. They're out there. There's always one company that will cut another company's price, and it'll change. If you're willing to chase that piece, that's great. But the right agent will focus on the coverage first and the price second. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think that that is the focus that agents should take, or should they just focus on getting the cheapest price? Leave it in the comments below. Have you worked with an agent before as well that was amazing? Or have you worked with an agent that was horrible? And have you worked with an agent before in the past that didn't do these things, where you did notice there was a big difference? We actually have something in our system called an AOR, that's called an agent of record. So if I'm not competitive or you want to stay with a company that I currently use, you can switch the agent so that you can go with the more experienced person. Every so often we do that where we become the current agent for the new customer, and that way you're not wondering if somebody's going to be available to you. Let me know what your thoughts are. Otherwise, I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.